Morning. I'm just heading out, getting to hopefully a location I haven't been for a long time. Very old woodland, but sadly it's time to coppice it, and they've cleared, I don't know, 50-60% at least, which is a shame, but I understand it has to be done. I'm going to try and get to a spot that I used to go to, but I don't know whether you can still access it. Once I get there, time for breakfast. There's a fair bit of fresh growth out there, but as you can see on the horizon, dense woodland. Where I'm standing, dense woodland. It was like that right across. Shame really. I've not been here for a long time. I can't believe how different it looks. The immediate area hasn't changed, but where it was dense woodland and quite dark and shadowy in here, it's so light now, and more breezy because they've cut so many of the trees down. It's opened it up. I'll go just to the edge of this patch and I'll show you. And of course, as soon as he starts filming, it sounds like a helicopter is coming over. Oh yeah, he's up quite high. Yes, it was all dense woodland. It's a bit different now. As you can see, it's still proper woodland over the far side there. And that's how it was right across. But they've cut the middle of the valley out. I don't know whether I can quite show you from this angle. Let me move the camera slightly. Round like that. It's a long way off, and well, mobiles don't zoom, do they? But you can see the log pile on the end of that field. So that's right next to the road. It's as I said, I know it needs doing now and again, but I just don't like seeing it like this. And in my lifetime, I'll never see it back how it was again, which is a shame. Right, head back in there, out the wind. I didn't really need the tarp as such, but top of the hill, it's so exposed now. Even on a gentle breeze day like this, it's quite gusty. So I want some shelter from the wind while I'm doing my cooking. Otherwise it'll play havoc with my alcohol stove. That's breakfast and coffee, organised. Not ready, but organised. I'm glad I put the tarp up because the flames are still getting blown about a fair bit. And I've forgotten my little windshield, which is a bit of a pain. But it'll be alright, it'll do the job. Just gotta sit back and wait now. Alcohol stoves not being the fastest thing on the planet. Never mind, I don't mind sitting here. It's funny, I've never camped up here. I don't know why, but where that fallen tree is makes me think, there, that sort of area. I used to sometimes come up here in the evenings, set myself up there with a bit of a hide, because if I spin you round, sorry if it's a bit wobbly, just over that bank where the ferns start, there's quite a big badger set, and they used to come up here in the evening and be poking about on this bit of flat ground at the top here. I used to sit up there watching them, which was very nice. I don't know whether they're still about because of the all the tree work might have disturbed them. Obviously you're not allowed to officially disturb badgers, but they soon know when something's changing in their environment. Just through those trees there, see how light it is? That's how far they came with the felling, right up to the edge. They couldn't come any further for two reasons. One, the badgers, but mainly because this is classified as a site of special scientific interest because of the rare plants in here. So this part of the woodland is protected. They can't come any further, which is a blessing, I suppose. Can you hear all that calling? It's the buzzards hunting. There's one there above that tree, but just too far off. And now he's gone behind a tree. Typical. But listening to that, there's 3 out here. At least 3. Which is quite unusual because they're normally only in pairs. So I can only assume that they've got this year's young with them, teaching them to hunt. That place over there. That'd be a bloody hardship living there, overlooking this, wouldn't it? Okay, maybe you want to win the lottery. Right, bit of all-day breakfast and coffee. That's the way to get my morning started. What's that? Fairly. I don't know why they put the tear strip across the top of the pouch, because you've got such a long way to scoop down in and you end up getting it all over your fingers and all over the handle of a spoon. Cut it down the side, opens up to a nice big open pouch. So much easier. I suppose they have their reasons. Good way to start the day. Why is it, whenever you have something out of a ration pack, regardless of flavour and what's in it, can't really show you at this angle, I'll pour it out, but it's always luminous orange. I don't know, maybe it's the preservatives or whatever, but it tastes alright. Oh, that's still hot. I think I'll leave that to the end. Right, I shall return when I've filled my face. I don't know whether you heard the undergrowth at the end of that clip. I was just finished talking to the camera, like you do, and between these two trees here, a deer run through there. This side of that fallen tree, which is what, about 15 feet away, and disappeared in that hole in the hedge. What a lovely close encounter. But it's always when your phone's in your pocket or your hands are full. I didn't know whether to spill my coffee, throw my breakfast, grab the camera, or quite what to do, but hey, I got to see it, that was the point. It was a fallow deer, but quite unusually, well, for this area anyway, it was one of the really dark ones. It looked almost black. I have seen them before in other areas, but not very often in here. But yeah, lovely to see. So I think it looks like it's a bit of a regular trail up through there. I think when I pack up, I'll walk out that direction and see if I can see any other sign. Well, I've followed the deer trail for about 100 metres. Never been in this little piece here before. It's not part of the main woodland, and I think it's sort of like an estate boundary because there is a ditch and trees. There's certainly a scrape there where something's been rooting about or bedding down. So maybe he travels up through this way. There's the boundary bank. You can see the barbed wire fence, of course, but it's a very old boundary. These gnarly old trees, from where it was probably a hedge at one time. Hedge laying. The woodland I came in through is in through there. So yeah, cross back over the boundary, back into the piece of woodland that I know. I'll try and make my way out. It is like a bloody jungle though. Since they have felled all those trees, there was a reasonable easy access path. Now got to sort of cut straight through the jungle. Yeah, it looks like that's where they cross through to get to the little stream, though there's not much water in it. There is, a bit too far off, there is prints there where they've jumped across, and over there there'll be a deer poo. Looks like they go up there. I think I'll follow their route out. They'll go in the direction that I want to go, and they're not stupid. They normally take the path of the least resistance, which suits me in an environment like this. Like I said, it's like a bloody jungle in here. It's starting to open up a little bit here. It looks boggy down there though, but I've got to cross straight through there. Stream runs in the bottom of there. Looking at it, I think up through that dark patch up there, that's where I was having my breakfast, on that hill. So yeah, I'm definitely heading in the right direction. I'm heading east. I'm going to find paths I know eventually, he says. I've picked up the deer trail again, which is good news. Considerably easier going. On an old boundary, some description here, old barbed wire fence, and some rubbish here as well. Obviously whoever got that ground there just threw their rubbish over the back fence. I don't know if you can make it out or not. Along here looks like almost like sandstone blocks covered in green moss. They're not, they're tyres. They've actually made like a retaining wall out of tyres, which is odd. And obviously some of them made it through. I couldn't be bothered to come back and get them. But I know the ground that's to my right. So if I just keep following this fence, he said, oh yeah, yeah, the deer agree with me. The deer go this way. I should be able to find my way out. Very well used deer trail here. Lots of prints. Aha! Back to one of the proper paths. Just need to follow this one uphill and then I'll be back to where I started, we hope. Oh, that's a bit of an uphill slog. But I'm back to the track. Nice little green lane this is, but sadly the council have put an order on it and you're not allowed to drive it anymore. Not that the majority of off-roaders or people riding motorbikes did any damage. It was just like the odd few that decided it was too tempting to cut a left and play in there. And being a protected woodland, they took a very dim view of it and closed the road. There's now metal gates, top and bottom, and concrete bollards and all that sort of thing, which is a shame. Spoils it for the majority. A bit like the wild camping, I suppose. Only takes a few idiots to mess it up for all of us. And sadly, it's very same in the off-road world, which, you know, I was a part of years ago. We used to love going green laning, didn't do any damage. In fact, we used to cut back the undergrowth to make it easier to get through and also easier for the horse riders and so on. And of course, now most places four-wheel drives are banned, or an awful lot of them, and all the lanes are getting really overgrown and no one's doing any maintenance, which is a bit wrong really, because they are officially roads. The council should keep them clear, but they don't. Never mind, that's enough ranting. Let's get off that subject.